Well, hello everybody. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I wanted to share a card sketch or layout or design and 3 different ways that I used it. So, I think here this was the card sketch that I started with. And it has this banner in the back, this square, well actually it's more of a rectangle here, and then my design on it. So this one shows it in the portrait, straight up and down, using my favorite top folding card. I'll get into that, the measurements and such, in a little bit. Then I thought, what if you wanted to turn it so that it was horizontal? So here we have now more the landscape version. So same layout, just turn this direction. And then, excuse me, oh, another one like the first one? That's what you think. Surprise! It's actually a fun fold card. So this is the banner is what covers up the sentiment on the inside of your card. So let me get you started here on these. We're going to start with this one here. Now, all of these cards feature papers and the stamp set from the Gilded Autumn Suite out of the Holiday Mini Catalog by Stampin' Up. And I just love this paper. I love the paper. It's called Gilded Autumn Specialty Designer Series paper. And what makes it the specialty paper is the fact that it has the bits of metallics going through it. So that's what I have here, is a piece that is cut. This is cut 2 inches wide and 5 1/4 inches long. Okay. Again, my card base, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. Yep, it's the top folding card, 11 by 4 1/4. You've got your score line here at 5 1/2. Hey, if I go too fast with the measurements, don't worry. I'm going to have a printable tutorial that you can pick up. It'll be down in the description down below this video, so don't be afraid to click on that and print it out. You'll be able to then have that forever. All right, so then I have in here my piece of Very Vanilla, 5 1/4 by 4. I'll show you the stamp set too that I used. Like I said, it's part of that Gilded Autumn Suite, and it is called Beautiful Autumn. All right, there is a coordinating punch set that punches out 2 of the leaves and the acorn. So purchase the stamp set and the all those punches. You save 10% that way. So anyway, the sentiment, this leaf, all of that comes from that stamp set. All right, so I've got my early espresso. I also have another piece of Very Vanilla, and it too is 5 1/4 by 4. So that is going to be just adhered straight down onto the card base. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Okay. Then I'm going to get my strip here, and as you noticed on the sample that I have the banner cut for it, and I'm going to use the triple banner punch is what it's called. I love this punch. So the maximum here that it goes is 2 inches, so that's why my strip here, so I make sure it's all the way in. I punch, and now I have the perfect banner. Now if you don't have that punch, it's okay. You can just cut that out with scissors. Okay, so I just like the easy way. I tout myself as being a lazy stamper, and so that means if I have punches or dies that I can use, you better believe it, I'm going to use it. So all right, let me just turn this on the side, just makes it easier for me to see. And I'm going to adhere my banner down. Part of the suite is this brushed metallic cardstock, and I have this piece. It is 3 inches tall, 2 3/4 inches wide. So it's just a hair shorter than being a complete 3-inch square, but I kind of liked this measurement here, so I'm going to just adhere that down. Now I have another piece of the designer paper, the Gilded Autumn, and I just did a circle with my layering circle dies, and I felt like, I know it's Pool Party is not labeled as one of the colors that coordinates with this paper, but I felt like inside here that this just reminded me of Pool Party. So I did a scallop circle then to layer behind it in Pool Party. So kind of going a little against the grain here, I guess. So also normally I would do my sentiment on my die cut shape here. So instead I decided to just use a piece, this is crumb cake, and I stamped the sentiment in early espresso ink and just, you know, cut the strip out accordingly. So I have a dimensional here, my favorite things, little bit of glue, and I will adhere this down. I felt like it needed just a little something as far as for an embellishment. Now, within this suite, you do have a ribbon combo pack, and it is the basket weave and metallic. This is a copper color here, and it's gorgeous. I really do like this ribbon. I didn't use the basket weave ribbon on these, but I definitely used this metallic, this copper metallic ribbon. So I just tied myself a bow. Let me get my glue dots. And this is going to be my embellishment for this card. Okay. And I'm going to just adhere it right here in the corner. Okay. So card number 1 is done. Same measurements. All of the measurements are the same on the first 2 cards. There's a little bit of a difference then whenever we do that fun fold card. So here we go. I'm sorry that they let me pop these underneath. I realize that there's a glare on there, so I'm going to actually kind of slide that one out of the way so that you're not hit with that. So, all right, so this time I have my card base. I guess the usual measurement for that. And that means that is the 8.5 by 5.5. This score and fold line is the 4.25. Now I'm doing it kind of opposite of this one. Here I put the cardstock down as the first layer. Instead I put some of the designer series paper. This is part of that Gilded Autumn paper. Now I went ahead and cut then a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. I embossed it with one of the embossing folders out of the holiday mini catalog, wrapped in texture. So same thing, same measurements. It was 2 inches, 4.25. I hit it with the triple banner punch, then I embossed it. So here is again a piece from the brushed metallic cardstock. That has 3 different metallics in it, so it's really kind of cool, and it's very, very versatile. I'm actually going to have to get another piece of this, or place another order for that, because I am almost out. I've used it a lot. All right, so here's my circle again with some of the Gilded Autumn paper. Love, love, love it. It's got that nice mix of the gold and bronze, copper. Beautiful. Love it. So, and this time my scallop circle is mint macaron. All right, so oops, let me see if I can pick this up. Well, I seem to have already, it's down. So I'm going to leave it down, and here again, same sentiment, still the thank you on a piece of crumb cake. And just for something fun, instead of going straight across with it, I'm going to just kind of angle it a little bit. You know what? I do like to put a little bit of adhesive then where it overlaps. So that's what I'm going to do there. my embellishment's going to be the same. It's going to be that copper metallic ribbon that I already made a bow with. And let's get it put right there. Okay, so card number 2, the same sketch, just this time now it's turned in the landscape position or horizontal here. So, okay, now time for the fun fold card. So here we go. This is the card. Let me set that off to the side. Let me just show you the supplies. Again, early espresso. This time though, it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This portion does not open like your normal card, so it is just one layer of that. I also have a piece of Very Vanilla, 4 by 5 1/4. All right, before I adhere it down, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. This again is a strip. I used the Gilded Autumn Designer Series paper, 2 inches wide. This time it is 6 inches long. Now, I like to have what ends up being on the front of the card to measure 5 inches. So 6 inches is what this measures. I go ahead and I put it through, get that banner punch done. Well, you know what, before I do that, my fault. From the top, I'm going to just score it here. I forgot to tell you that measurement. That's 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so 3/4 of an inch is the score line. So by doing this, whenever I go ahead and I punch it, what is left from here to the point of the banner is pretty close to 5 inches. So it might be a hair over, but I'm okay with that. All right, so let's go ahead and let's fold that along that 3/4 inch score line. So this is what we're going to have fold over, and this is what then is going to lift up. So on the inside part of my little tab, that 3/4 inch piece there, is where I'm going to put my adhesive. All right, and then eyeball it. You can measure it if you want. I sometimes just eyeball stuff. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Okay, now before I adhere this down, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping, but I'm also, here is my piece of that brushed metallic cardstock that's 2 3/4 by 3. Now I want to make sure that whenever I put adhesive on it, that I don't, on the back side of course, I don't want any of it to be along here, because then I won't have that flap to open up. So I'm just going to put my adhesive right here. And that way whoops, one of the hazards of the using the liquid glue. It's a good thing to be able to wiggle it, but sometimes it moves on you. So I want to just lift this up and make sure that I don't have any adhesive then showing through here. And I don't. I'm good. So from here, this is what I want to use. I have sort of a something to help me eyeball where to do my stamping on the inside. So this is Early Espresso ink that I'm using. I am going to lift this up and get an idea of kind of where I'm going to be stamping the inside of my card. All right, the inside sentiment. So go. And it will be covered up. All right, I always feel like a victory whenever that goes right. Something like that goes right for me. Okay, So let's go ahead and get this adhered down to the base, which actually isn't a card. It is just the back of it. So I just like to really make sure that I have lots of adhesive where that fun fold flap, wow, that's a tough one to say, is, because people are going to be opening and closing that a lot whenever they receive this card. So, okay. And then again, same idea here. I cut out a piece of the designer series paper. This is Cajun Craze, is the scallop circle that I use, that layer. So let me see. I like having the stripes not straight up and down. I like that little hint of that diagonal. And the other ones I had a dimensional that I put where it overhung, and I'm not going to do that here because then it would keep my card closed. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of adhesive and there we go. One more bow. Okay, oops. And this card is going to be complete. So here we go. 3 cards, 1 sketch. So don't be afraid if you really like a layout that you've created, don't be afraid to use it. Change it up, use different papers. As you can see, I kind of changed directions of them. So that was kind of my difference that I did with them. But I really liked this layout. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. So let me get these in here. I hope that glare from the metallics isn't too sharp for you. So like I said, there will be a down in the description, you will find the printable tutorial. I appreciate you guys clicking on that and enjoying this, the makings of these cards. Thanks so much for watching today too. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as well. That way you won't miss out on any new videos that I post. I do have a blog. It's lindaloucreates.com where I post some projects on there. There's even a chance to sign up for my newsletter on my blog, so be sure and do that also. So, hey, thanks again for joining me, everybody, and I hope you get a chance to create today. Bye now.